42nd. 40. Brooklyn, 40. Get the funk down. You had the numbers. It took us 6 years. We worked with Bob Dylan, Sammy Hagar, John Jett, Renee Mike. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's a great Friday night because you're here with us, and also Marky Ramone is here in the studio doing live radio. We really appreciate you taking the time to come down here tonight to be on the T.Smith show with B.Obrien. It's a great pleasure to have you here, and you're just joining us. Marky Ramone is here, and we're talking about this evening specifically, not just about rock and roll, but also specifically about the wonderful CD that you have, the Dust CD. What could you tell us, for our great audience out there, about this wonderful CD, what they should know about it? And
it's the first professional outing I was involved with musically as a teenager, along with Kenny Aronson and Richie Wise. Kenny Aronson went on to become a very well-known sideman with Bob Dylan, Joan Jett, Billy Idol, etc. Richie, the guitar player, produced the first two Kiss albums. So there's a lot of history behind this group. Again, we were from Brooklyn, and we loved music, and then this was the start of it. And the rest is history. We did move on to other things.
And it's great that I'm sure you have a great website, many different websites. As a matter of fact, I had a chance to look at some of that. So
yeah, there's
some great stuff there. And the book and the works. And
yeah, a whole book about the beginning of what I remember in life, up until now, who I played with, working with Phil Spector.
Yeah, tell us about a moment of your relationship with Phil Spector.
Well, he was my friend to the end, and unfortunately, you can't argue with our justice system. You can, but in the end, it's the jury that makes the decision. So,
do you think it was unjust?
I think, in my opinion, I think of what I heard and what I was told, that it was an accident. It should have been presented as an accident by the lawyers, by the team. It wasn't. They made it sound like it was that he did it, suicide, but it was an accident.
But he was a great guy, a great friend of yours.
Well, he was a good friend of mine, but you know, he was egomaniacal, which all geniuses, most geniuses are, and he never pointed a gun at us in the studio. That's just exaggeration, sensationalism. But as a producer, he was the greatest for what he did in his time. So me and Joey had a lot of fun working with him, you know, and I wish him luck, and I hope maybe one day he'll come out. You know, like, what can I say? You know what I mean?
But you work with, of course, some of the best people in rock and roll, obviously.
I worked with Andrew Oldham, Rolling Stones producer. I didn't work with him. He produced me, the group, but I got to know him well. And Kenny Kerner, Richie Wise, the guys who produced the Dust album, didn't have any experience, but look how well these are produced for 1971-72. So, and you're talking about only 8-track studios, 16-track studios, not 68. And there was no, you know, the Pro Tools that they have today, where they can just, where a band can just put a sentence together instead of doing the whole track.
You kind of miss those days of the 60s and early 70s of how records were produced back then?
I was a little young in the 60s, but in the early 70s I got to, after I started making records, I got to realize that analog is really the way to go in certain genres of music, not digital. Certain music sounds better that way than others, you know. But yeah, I worked with really good people, and I'm very grateful for that.
I know you performed all over the world. Any particular place that you really enjoyed performing?
Wow.
That's a big one. That's kind of a right question, I suppose.
Well, no, Argentina's great, Brazil, Mexico, Spain's great, London's good. I liked Greece, of course, New York City, Los Angeles. you get to see a lot of your friends from way back when I started playing with Ramones. They still come around.
A lot of these friends in your book?
A lot of people are in the book that I do name. And I really like Tokyo a lot. That's like landing on a different planet.
In what way did you like it? In what way was it different?
It's just the way the culture is, the food, the music scene there, the punk music scene there. Their work ethic is really unbelievable, and I just like everything in their stores. Anything you want to eat, if you don't know Japanese, you just have to point at the plastic reproductions of the food you want to eat, and they cook it just like that.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
As people may not know, maybe they do know, your grandfather was quite a chef.
Yeah, he was a chef at the Copacabana, which was a famous nightclub, and the 21 Club. And he used to cook for all the stars, all the famous stars, and other people of different walks of life.
Did you meet some of the stars when they came in when you were there?
Jackie Gleason always gave him a really outrageous tip for the time, and he liked his steak 1.5 inches thick. And he got to meet and see everybody. 21 was mainly more upscale, people with occupations upscale. And then he worked at the Dutch Tavern, right over here in the Wall Street area. So that's how I got to get into cooking.
I got into your own business.
In the pasta sauce, Marky Ramone's Brooklyn's own pasta sauce, which my manager got me involved with 2 years ago. So
how did that actually happen that he got you involved with that? In what way did that discussion come up?
Well, he suggested, let's put it out commercially. Once the ingredients was put together to do it, which we did, it took a while. Finally, we got the right ingredients, and it was #2 in the Wall Street Journal. Rayo's was #1. So, I mean, I don't read the Wall Street Journal, and a lot of people do. But I guess if people who do read the Wall Street Journal, if the suits like it, then it's fine with me. It must be good because they can afford to go after choices.
And our number here in the studio, by the way, is 212-219, or as Bob O'Brien said, 9695. That's 212-219-9695. Live with Marky Ramone here with Teddy Smith and Bob O'Brien. We're going to play from the Dust album CD, the number cut 17, Loose Goose. Anything you'd like to tell us about this instrument?
Yeah, very fast. A lot of different time changes, stops, and again, we were 18 years old here, and this just shows how well we were able to play at our age.
Well, you look very young now.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. It's all that Nivea.
Must be that spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, well, yeah, that helps, especially the olive oil.
And this song, too, helps. Thanks, Mark. And Marky.
Yep.
At W.